If you are planning to buy land in Enugu State or you already have a property in Enugu State and Nigeria at large, then this video is very, very important to you. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ezechibdo Moses, a realtor based here in the city of Enugu State. And in case you are new here, I share practical real estate insight, investment opportunities, and a property update for smart investor like you who is watching this very video. So in today's video, I'm going to explain to us what ground rent means, who pays ground rent, number 3, why paying ground rent matters, and number 4, why ignoring paying ground rent as a property owner could cause a serious problem for you in the nearest future. Now, let's take it face by face. What is ground rent? Ground rent is a yearly fee paid to the state government by you, the property owner, for using land that legally belongs to state government. In Enugu State and everywhere in Nigeria, all land belongs to the government under the Land Use Act. So when you own a land, you are granted the right to occupy that land, not absolute ownership. So the yearly fee you pay to maintain that right of ownership is called ground rent. Who collects ground rent? That is, who should ground rent be paid to? Ground rent is being paid to the state government through any of the following. Number 1, State Ministry of Land. 2, State Internal Revenue Service. And 3, through any designated platform. For example, in Enugu State, you pay ground rent to state government through Ministry of Land and Urban Development in Enugu State, or through the State Internal Revenue Service, or if you own a land in any of Enugu State Housing Development Corporation, you pay to the Enugu State Housing Development Corporation account by visiting their office. Number 3, does ground rent apply to all land? The answer is no. Now, the question is, which properties requires ground rent? Now, the following properties require, if you own any of these properties or properties with this document, so it's expected of you to pay ground rent. Number 1, property, land or property with CO of O, that is certificate of occupancy. You are required to pay ground rent. Number 2, any land or property with governor's consent. Number 3, any land or property with government allocation paper. In Enugu State, if you have any land that has government allocation paper, you are required to pay ground rent annually. Number 4, any land with registered deed of assignment or irrevocable power of attorney. In as much as you have a property that is attached to registered document, you are required to pay yearly ground rent on behalf of that property. Family or local land usually don't have ground rent, not until you register that property under government. That is when you can start paying ground rent. Number 4, who is responsible for paying ground rent? The answer is the current owner of any land or property is the person responsible for paying ground rent. If you are buying or if you bought a land with a registered document, then you should ask if there is any outstanding ground rent in respect to that property. So once you are the current owner or occupier of a particular property, you are the one responsible for paying the ground rent. That is why it is very, very important before paying for any land in Enugu or anywhere in Nigeria and the land is registered under government, you should endeavor to ask questions whether they have cleared the ground rent. I mean, whether the person selling the land have cleared the ground rent or if there is any outstanding ground rent attached to that land or house before you pay for it. Number 5, how much is ground rent? Now the answer is ground rent fees differs and it varies based on the following. Number 1, the location of the property. Number 2, the land size of that particular property. Number 3, the use of that particular land or property, whether it is for commercial use, industrial use, or residential use. For instance, this is an allocation paper from Enugu State Housing Development Corporation. My client bought a property from them through me, and the size of the property is 540 square meters, and his ground rent annually is 25,000 naira. Number 6, what happens if you don't pay ground rent? Now, ignoring ground rent can lead to the following. Number 1, penalties and accumulative arrears. So if you don't pay your ground rent annually, state government will be piling it for you. They will be calculating the ground rent for you until one day they will make it public by serving you a notice. So some time ago in Enugu State, around 2023, 2024, and the last year being 2025, the state government remembered all the property owners in Enugu State who have not paid their ground rent. One day I was passing through a property and I saw on the fence where government mapped their dues from 2018 that the person bought the property. The person have not paid his ground rent till 2025. Government calculated the ground rent from 2018, including the penalty. So the person is going to pay penalty. This thing happens because people are ignorant. Once you own a land, you are automatically owning government ground rent for using a land that legally belongs to government. You don't own it. You use it, you occupy it. You don't own any land, no matter the amount of money you paid for it, whether you're having a CFO or not. You don't absolutely own it. You are occupying it. If you have a CFO, you are occupying it for a period of 99 years. And you're expected to renew your CFO. So once you are occupying government property, which is land, you are expected to pay ground rent for that land annually. Number 2, ignoring ground rent can lead to difficulties in processing documents. Maybe you want to process a certain document. Maybe you have a registered deed of assignment and you don't pay your ground rent for years and you want to process your CFO. That ground rent that you have not paid for years will bring difficulties for you processing your CFO. Number 3, ignoring ground rent can lead to state government revoking your properties in extreme cases. Ignoring land ground rent can lead to state government to revoke that property, and state government have all the rights reserved to do so if you don't pay your ground rent annually. Number 4, ignoring paying your ground rent can lead to problems when you want to resell your land or your house, and also when you request for development approval. This is for empty plot. Maybe you are done with your building plan and you want government to approve that plan for you. And unfortunately, you are owing ground rent. So ignoring ground rent can lead to problems when you want to resell your property or you take any plan to government for approval. Most land revocation cases in Nigeria don't happen accidentally. They don't happen suddenly. They happen because some people ignored paying their ground rent annually for so many years. So sometimes you hear that government revoked a land, like places in like Abuja, Lagos, and sometimes in Enugu, you hear that government revoked a particular estate, revoked a particular land, a land that has CFO, you hear that government revoked it. Why? Because the occupier of that land did not meet all the government requirements to be the owner of that land. So not paying ground rent can lead to government revoking your land. Number 7, how to check and also pay ground rent in Enugu State and Nigeria at large. You can verify ground rent and also pay ground rent through any of the following means. Number 1, in Enugu State, you check the status of ground rent of a land you want to buy, or also pay for your property ground rent in Enugu State Ministry of Land and Urban Development. Number 2, at the office of the Enugu State Housing Development Corporation. This is if you own a land in any of Enugu State Housing Development Corporation property or estate in Enugu State. Number 3, you can also check ground rent status through when you are making your title verification process. And number 4, you can do that through professionals who is handling your documents. Never assume that the ground rent is settled. Always verify before making that payment. For that particular land, this alone will save you so much stress, energy, and money. Number 8, common myths about ground rent. People often say that ground rent is optional. It is absolutely false. Once you buy a land, once you own a land, once you are a property owner, you're automatically owning government yearly grant rent. So it's not optional. It's something that you are owning government. People also say that once you buy land, grant rent ends. It is a total false. Once you buy land, your grant rent has started counting. You are the one responsible for it, and that which means you are owning government every year. The same way you are paying for house rent, that is the same way you are owning government every year once you buy land in Enugu State or anywhere in Nigeria. Number three, people also think that it is only big estate that pays grand rent. That is a big fat lie. Once you own a plot of land, whether it is 1 square meter, whether it is 2 square meter, or whether it is 1,000 square meter plot of land, you are automatically owning state government and you are required to pay your grand rent annually. Number nine, my candid advice to property owners in Enugu State and in Nigeria at large, or people that are intending to buy land. I am a realtor here in the city of Enugu State, and this is my candid advice to you. Grand rent is a small money, but ignoring it can cost you millions of naira. Smart investors don't just buy land. They understand the obligations that comes with it. If you are planning to buy land in Enugu State or anywhere in Nigeria and you want to avoid hidden problems like unpaid grand rents and others, then you should talk to professionals who understand the game. They will help you in solving the problem. My name is Ezechibdom Moses, and I'm a realtor here in this Enugu State. My major job is to help you invest in properties that are free from all these hidden problems. Don't forget to like this video, comment and share it. Also subscribe to my channel for videos like this and more. Thank you until I come your way again.